Travis Wingate. So, as you can see, I'm way back. I'm home too early. Turns out that the dentist no longer is at that location. But I did get to see a very cute redhead. Yeah. So, yeah, on the way home, I then saw a homeless guy trying to steal a box from a University of Utah student. Why can't you just leave people alone? Yes, I know you're fighting for survival, but go after the people causing it, not after those who are struggling themselves. But turns out that the dentist place just didn't bother to update their online information. I can understand that. I've not updated my online information. I never have my phone turned on anyway, so it doesn't matter if I put an updated phone on there for you. You're still not going to reach me. You're just going to get the message to leave a message, and then you'll be hung up on because the messages are all full. I don't like cell phones. I thought they would be cool. Turns out they still got some major work to get to where I'm going to trust them. Because when I'm trying to contact an important business, or like say the government, I don't want to have a call hang up on the important call that I'm on. So, and the fact that they're able to track me whenever I turn on my phone, very disturbing. Alrighty, so let's do a comparison here. We'll start with a second object lesson for you. We'll use psychology, I guess, so I can continually remind you to stay away from John Dehlin. He's a doctor of psychology. He's trained on how to gaslight. He's trained in how to groom. He's trained in how to lie and deceive. And so, he has people sit on his couch while he films them as they talk about all their problems with the church. But he never cures anybody. Not a single ex-Mormon is cured through John Dehlin. It's just a venting place. But in the venting, he allows the false information that the church is falsely informing, which is why ex-Mormons left, because the church lied, and ex-Mormons were upset. You lied, and now you're telling us that this is the way it is? And they leave, and John Dehlin lets them vent. And he requires donations to never solve your problems. And he gets a lot of people. And so, does it sound familiar to have a guy who is popular, is getting donations only for the purpose of spreading lies? Sound like any religion we know of? Exactly. He was even Mormon. He knows the trick. He knows how to work the system. Why are you guys falling for this? It's like, you didn't get fooled by the church, so get fooled by John Dehlin. Oh, guys. So, there are, if you remember Operation Rio Grande, Exterminate the Homeless, they had no intention of building other shelters. They were just going to shut it down, and they were going to funnel the homeless either to jail, to then go through their newly created drug courts, or through the newly created mental health courts. Because obviously if you're homeless, you must be mentally ill. Because it couldn't be anything that the government did, or the church had the government do. So it's obviously you who are to blame. And so yeah, they were going to put them in mental health beds. They cleared out the Salt Lake County Jail, and then expected to be able to find them a mental home bed. Well, turns out there are no mental home beds. They're all full. The mental health system will tell you outwardly in the public view that they try to help those with mental problems get restored back into society. But as I demonstrated with John Dehlin, they have no intention of finding out the real cause. John Dehlin doesn't want to know the truth about Mormonism. He's there to catch all the ex-Mormons so that he can make money and become popular and perpetuate the problem. Because wouldn't it be horrifying if ex-Mormons were actually cured of their trauma leaving the church? Do you understand? John Dehlin thinks all ex-Mormons are mentally ill. And so the mental health process has 3 levels of housing before getting someone restored back into society in regular home housing. And so the first one, it's hospitalization. You know, they have what's called hospitals, thanks to President Kennedy. He signed the No More Asylums thing. And so Utah, in complying with a Democrat, changed the name of the Utah Asylum to the the Utah State Hospital. Oh, hospital! That makes me feel a lot better. I'm cured. So yeah, Utah still has an asylum. They just call it a hospital. But that's the first level, is where people freak out and need help. It's used for other things too. If you're a criminal, well, obviously you're mentally ill. Unless you're black, then you're a terrorist. And so all the white kids, such as Brian David Mitchell, yeah, he got sent there for his crimes of kidnapping and raping a 14-year-old girl. He's mentally ill, not a criminal. Well, thank goodness that Mr. Smart was smart, had connections with Orrin Hatch, who was senator at the time, and they made sure to take it up to the federal court level. Screw this state level, getting a cushy life in a mental home. And so yeah, they had him reevaluated, and what do you know, Brian David Mitchell was cured after all. The first cured case of mental illness in all of history. And so he was put on trial. They had Wanda Barzee testify against him. And bye-bye David Mitchell. Bye-bye. It's amazing. The healing power of connections. So you can tell how I feel about psychology. The next level, as Utah has done away with, they had a wellness recovery place that was like a purgatory waiting room where you can stay there until you find an assisted living home. An assisted living home, they have on-call nursing 24/7, so that if you need drugs in the middle of the night, they'll supply you with your fix. Just one fix. Anybody know that group? Ministry, I do believe. Yeah, Ministry. Because they also do the New World Order. Read my lips. No, that's a different song. They're the 1,000 Points of Light. Yep. But they also have caseworkers that come to work. They have offices there to help the assisting of the assisted living personnel. And the whole purpose is to get people to where they don't need assistance anymore. And that's where the third phase comes in. It's independent housing. It's a trial run to see if they can do it on their own. And so they are given resources to try to see if they can do it on their own in assisted living, and then supposedly advance to independent housing. Well, wouldn't it be horrifying if a mental health facility or company here in Utah had no intention of processing people through the system and back into society, recovered from mental illness, like Brian David Mitchell was cured of his. That if they may have had an independent housing, that they decided, no, all of you guys are no longer independent. We're bringing in the caseworkers, we're bringing in the nurses, we're bringing in security, because it's all monitored and secured at assisted living. Because we don't trust you anymore. We are downgrading you to assisted living, and we're changing this residence of yours to assisted living now. Do you think that's going to help them? Do you think that there might be crime involved? And so, when we're dealing with spiritual health, yeah, obviously John Dehlin is not the way to go. He's the one perpetuating the spiritual sickness the church gave us. He has no intention of processing you out of your sickness so that you can rejoin community. He did do a video where he had one couple talking about how they found community as an ex-Mormon. He ghosted me, by the way. It's because I'm on to him. Obviously, those who are on to you, they are your enemy. You must shun them and spread the word. And so, yes, it wouldn't surprise me at all if John Dehlin is throwing in jabs about me here and there. Like I'm doing to him, trying to warn you to stay away from him. You want to know the truth about the church? I'm sorry, I'm the only one who's doing it. Yes, I know. There's Fawn Brody's, No Man Knows My History, there's Rough Stone Rolling, there's Mormonism and the Magic Worldview, there's Mormonism, Shadow or Reality. That's the closest you're going to get is Mormonism, Shadow and Reality, or Reality. Because they put in original documentation. Thank you, Tanners. However, in leaving the church, they decided to become Christian. Yeah, because Mormons aren't Christians. We're supposed to be Jewish. Remember Mormons? 1 Nephi chapter 1, verse 2. Right at the beginning of the book. How did you miss that? And so with their Utah Lighthouse Ministry, they then interpret for us, oh thank you, because I couldn't understand myself by reading the documents alone, how the church is not Christian like they are. And so they'll bash on Mormons for having a belief in a Heavenly Mother. Oh my God. Yeah, there's never been a religion on earth that believed in a Heavenly Mother. I mean, Zeus, yeah, he was a lonely man. Slept in the doghouse a lot. Having sex with those mortal women, giving birth to half-breeds. Nope, Hera is not Heavenly Mother whatsoever. She's too mean to be Heavenly Mother. Yeah. You can't impose your religion to bash another religion. You have to understand the religion, and like I understand Mormonism, I still need to do my resume for you. Expose the weaknesses within the religion, not from without, imposing on. Go in, expose it. So, for example, I use the Book of Mormon to expose the church as being compared to Great and Abominable Church, the Rich Zoramites, Gadiant and Band of Robbers, the Antichrist, the Lamanites. See how that works? Because we're supposed to liken the scriptures unto ourselves. And so the spiritual health, the spiritual healing that is required comes from knowing the truth. If only psychologists would know that. If they would look for a cause, they'd realize, oh, you don't need me. You need a medical doctor. You've got brain damage. Or you've been on drugs. You need to be detoxed. You don't need a psychologist. Or you have an abnormality in the brain from birth, or what have you. Or you were traumatized from war. That's an external factor. That's not a mental illness. People should be getting Purple Hearts for being traumatized in war. They shouldn't have to just say, oh, well, you were physically wounded, now you get the Purple Heart. No, if you were traumatized by seeing your buddies blown up by you, just because you didn't get blown up or have any kind of physical damage, doesn't mean you don't get a Purple Heart. But you don't need a psychologist. You do need a better economy and a better government that treats you better when you try to return home into society. Because again, there's supposed to be a process to reincorporate people back into society. And when you train people to be bloodthirsty killers, how do they rejoin society? Oh, I'm going to become a cop and shoot unarmed black people in the back. Or I'll storm the Capitol. Cause an insurrection. Or I'll plant bombs. We're not taking care of our people. and thus the utopian principle from Thomas More's book Utopia. You have leaders who cause the problems, but then punish the people as a result. So, yeah, I hope that helps explain. Learning the truth about Mormonism will heal you. I know you want nothing to do with the church, but for me, when I'm getting bombarded, just attacked, and I'm being extorted to leave, never come back to church, because I found Joseph Smith to be a translator. That helped me mentally to know, no, Joseph Smith is a translator. What's going on? Why is the Mormons and my bishop and the church leaders trying to destroy me for saying Joseph Smith is a translator? Again, I need to give you my resume. But it was necessary to find out why, to go to the cause, not to judge by the outward appearance, not to bitch and moan. You guys are being mean to me. Stop it. Stop it. But to find out why. And for that, you have to go to the origins of church history. And thus I did. And thus I now know why. And thus I now do videos to inform you and to warn you to stay away from the church, to stay away from John DeLynn. That's where the healing comes. Not by sitting on a couch talking it out to yourself, but to find the truth. It's the only way. Plus, it helps to have those in the church held accountable and punished. Because if abusers, bullies, victimizers keep getting away with it, you're never going to be healed. The church's existence will never heal any ex-Mormon. The church has to stop, and they won't stop, which means they have to be shut down again. So, learning the truth and stopping the abuser.